We are back with more My Southern Home, and I'm here with Ellis Mitchell with Blandford Co. Thanks for being on the show with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So this kitchen is so gorgeous. You've really knocked it out of the park with this remodel.
Well, thank you.
So tell me a little bit about what this space looked like before.
So before, the space was a lot darker. It was very outdated. It had Formica countertops and just needed a nice fresh update.
So when the homeowners came to you, what were some of the things that they wanted?
They wanted a little bit more of a modern kitchen, but still keep it a little bit more classic. So I think as far as that, we brought in polished nickel to kind of ground it a little bit more. And then some of the hardware, I took inspiration from a little bit of Kentucky with horse bridles. So it gives you that good feel of the handle, but as well kind of brings it back to classic Kentucky.
Well, one of the things that I noticed right away is the beautiful casing. She has a lot of open windows, and how well it matched the new cabinetry.
Yeah, so we had a lot of existing casing, so we wanted to move our budget in places where we really thought we'd get the most bang for our buck, like our full high. So when we looked at everything, we matched all our cabinetry to our casing and then kept the uppers white just to give some levity to the space and really elevate it.
Well, we're seeing a lot of homeowners gravitate to those creams and those darker stains.
Yeah, I think those are great fits. Nowadays, it's a very classic style. You know, it can be good, 20 years from now, and it looked good 20 years ago.
So what are you seeing homeowners gravitate to when you tackle jobs like kitchens, for example?
A blending of efficiency, so smaller grout lines, easier to clean. The full high is a great example of that, really easy. There's one seam in it, I doubt you could find it. And then as well, really just the warmth and the feel of that with more modern features like a steam oven.
Well, it's nice that, in this day and age, homeowners have so many options when it comes to design.
Yeah, and that's one of those things we really take time with our clients to really, step through the door with them and give them all their options and then do a 3D rendering to kind of, put the pencil to the paper before we do the hammer to the wall.
So since we're talking about that, what is the process that you take with your clients?
So typically we sit down with them for discovery and say, what are your wants for this project, and then kind of work back with them and say, here's what we think is capable of the project. And then just slowly kind of work through about 3 different layouts as far as that goes to really land where the space is going to be most comfortable. And then from there start to really tune in the design for what we want the space to look like. Do you want it more classical? Do you want that more modern look, or something in between?
Well, it looks like to me that you do a lot of variety of jobs, because we met in Bardstown, my hometown, at a historic home. And now we're in a home that's around 60 years old that you gave a refresh to.
Sure, yeah. So we go from historic all the way up to new build. So, our room additions, all that kind.
So how did you get started in this business?
That's funny. I actually started with my dad. I tell people I've been in construction since I could hold a broom. He had me work with him on the weekends in his construction company. And about 6 years ago, I started my own.
Well, you're really lucky to learn a trade from your father, because 60 years ago, 40 years ago, they did things so much differently now.
Sure. It was a great time and a fun legacy to work with him and take it to the next level.
So what would you say you like most about remodeling?
I would say working with the customers to really get the end product where they are just blown away with it, and they get to enjoy their kitchen and have their family and friends here and have them enjoy it with them.
Well, I would say that this homeowner has to be blown away, because I just love the feeling of this space when you walk in.
Yeah, so a lot of these features I think are just timeless as far as that goes, from the steam oven to the Wolf appliances, and then really centering it back with older pieces like a bridge faucet out of polished nickel.
And Ellis, what are some things that homeowners need to think about when they're getting ready to remodel a space in their home?
I think really just understanding what you want out of this space. For this customer, just the little things like they wanted a divided sink, and we did a low divided divider on that, or how many people they're going to entertain. Are they going to have 20 people in here, or are they just going to have an intimate gathering?
Did you change the footprint in this space much?
On this one, we didn't change the footprint much. We actually just reconfigured the cabinetry to really get a more efficient product for our customer. From utilizing this corner for their steam oven to just reconfiguring where the oven is, so that way it's a little bit more comfortable for them.
Well, I love that you chose to showcase this particular space because it's not a huge area,
Sure.
but they did so much with it.
Sure.
And you don't always have to knock down walls to refresh your kitchen.
Sure. Yeah, really just nailing those details and maximizing, the space where it makes sense for the customer.
All right, well, thank you so much, Ellis. We really enjoyed being here with you today.
Thank you so much for having me.
We'll be back with more My Southern Home in just a moment.